Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me for this full body dynamic flow. So, for this practice, it will be an all levels practice. So, I'm going to offer up lots of options and variations for the postures. And I really encourage you to take whichever option feels best in your body. Always remember that no option is better or worse than the other. Really, the best option is the one that feels best for you. And if at any point during the class you'd like to take rest, that is always welcome. We're practicing online, so the beauty of that is that you can pause the video and then restart it once you're feeling ready to go again. So, yeah, always just really listening to your body and being super gentle and super kind to yourself throughout the class. So, let's get started. We're going to get started today in a wide-legged child's pose. You can bring your big toes to touch for this and bring your knees as wide as feels good to you. And then you can sink your hips back towards you, reach your arms ahead of you, rest your forehead on the mat. Or if you have a yoga block, you might bring it underneath your forehead. I'm just going to stay slightly elevated for the sake of the mic, but again, you can rest down. And then from here, you can close your eyes. Start to turn your focus inwards. Starting to land onto your mat here today. Let go of whatever came before this practice and whatever is to come afterwards. This next while is a time just for you. Becoming aware of your breath. Inhale deeply, feel your lungs fill up with air. Exhale slowly, feel the air leave your lungs. Inhale deeply, feel your whole back body rise up towards the sky. Exhale slowly, feel your back body gently fall down. Inhale, feel your belly fill up with air. Exhale slowly, feel the air leave your belly. Take one more nourishing deep breath here in child's pose. Once you're ready, make your way up to tabletop, coming to an all fours position with your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees under your hips. And we're just going to start to make some hip circles here, burning your hips around in one direction, sinking them back towards your heels, over to the other direction, and then circling the hips a little bit forward. You might even kind of drop your hips down towards your mat when you come forward. And if it feels better for you, you might like to walk your hands, slightly further ahead here to just allow the hips drop down a little bit lower. Nice and gently, nice and slowly at the start of the practice. And then we'll simply just change direction of these hip circles. Keeping the movement mindful and your breath nice and deep. And then we'll come back to center. You can bring your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. Let's take cat-cow, child's pose, waves, one of my favorites. Inhale, drop your belly towards the mat, gaze forward. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, sink your hips back towards your heels. Inhale, roll forward, shoulders above wrists as your belly drops, gaze forward. Exhale, reverse that, tucking chin, tucking tailbone, hips to heels. And then you can keep going here for a few more rounds at your own pace, moving in sync with your breath, really mobilizing the spine, opening into the hips and lower back, front of the body here as well. And then we'll all meet back at the top in tabletop position. Now we're going to take a side stretch here. Send the right leg off and back on the diagonal so that your right foot is off your mat. And then you extend your left leg back to the back of your mat. Plant your left foot into the mat. Your left foot will be on the same line as your right knee. Your right hand is underneath your shoulder. And then you can reach your left arm up to the sky. If it feels good in your body, you can bring your left arm in line with your left ear with the left palm face down. Super big side stretch through the left side body. You can choose stillness, or you might even like to make nice big circles with your left arm, mobilizing the left shoulder, opening into the chest a little bit more as you reach the left arm back and around. Take one more big circle here. And then we'll bring that left hand back underneath your left shoulder. Bring the right foot back in and then step the left foot to the outside of your left hand for lizard lunge. You can tuck your right toes under and then maybe walk the right knee back a little bit if that feels good for you. So we're in a lizard lunge now. Remember, you can always bring yoga blocks under your hands to make your arms longer if you have them. Pausing here for 2 more breaths. If it feels good, you might even gently wiggle a little bit side to side. Turning this into a twist. Bring your left hand to your thigh, torso turns to the left. You can stay here, or maybe you reach your left arm up to the ceiling. Maybe you gaze up to your left fingertips. One more deep breath in your twisted lizard. And then you can bring that left hand back inside your left foot and we'll step the left knee back to meet the right. Let's do that all on the other side. So sending your left shin and left foot out on the diagonal. Your left foot will be off your mat more than likely. You can extend your right leg back behind you, right sole of the foot earthed into the floor. Right foot on the same line as your left knee, and then your left hand is under your shoulder and also on the same line as your left knee. You can reach your right arm up to the sky. You can stick with this, or maybe you bring your right arm in line with your right ear for a big, big side body stretch here. If it feels enjoyable, you might even start to make some nice big, big circles with the right arm. Take one more circle here if you're doing circles. And then you can bring your right hand back underneath your shoulder, swivel the left foot back onto your mat, and then step the right foot outside the right hand for lizard lunge. You might like to tuck your left toes under and then just move the left knee back a little bit here. Pausing here for another 2 breaths. Opening into your right hip, left quad, left hip flexor. Let's make it a twist. Bringing your right hand to your right thigh. You can stick with that. Or maybe you reach the right arm up to the sky. One more breath here. And then you can bring your right hand back down to the mat, and we'll step the right knee back to meet the left. Let's come to downward facing dog. Walk your hands a little bit further forward, spread wide through all 10 fingers, push out through your hands, pick your knees up, send your hips up and back towards the sky. Downward facing dog, your feet are about hips width distance apart. Your chest reaches back towards your thighs. You can always have a deep bend in your knees. Take one more deep breath here in downward facing dog. And then when you're ready, we're going to step your left foot behind your left wrist and your right foot behind your right wrist, setting up for a yogi squat. The heels point slightly in and your toes point slightly out. And then you can sink your hips down nice and low. If your heels are up off the mat, don't worry, perfectly normal. You can always have your hands down on the ground to support you. Or maybe you bring your hands into prayer, pushing your knees into your elbows, elbows into your knees. Grow tall through your spine in yogi squat, malasana. One more deep breath here. Then you can bring your hands down to the mat, straighten through the legs, heel toe your feet in to about hips width distance apart with all 10 toes pointing forward. You can bend your knees for this first fold if you'd like. Allow your torso to rest over your legs. Arms can dangle, or maybe you hold on to opposite elbows. Take 2 more deep breaths here in forward fold, ragdoll variation. And then when you're ready, you can let go of the hold on your elbows with a deep bend in your knees. In slow motion, roll one vertebrae at a time, all the ways up to standing. Your head is the last thing to rise. Mountain pose Tadasana. You can bring your hands to your waist. We're going to tuck the left toes under. So your left toes are onto your mat here, the tops of your toes, so that you're getting a stretch up along the front of your foot and into the front of your ankle. This always feels so good for me. I love this. We'll take one more breath here. And then nice and gently, bringing the left knee into your chest. You can bring your hands to your waist, pausing for one breath here. Feel your core fire on to elevate your left knee. Take a twist. Right hand to the outside of the left knee. Reach your left arm back behind you. You might gaze off to the side. One more breath here. And then slowly, slowly come back to center, stepping the left foot to the back of your mat for high lunge. Inhale, reach arms up to the sky. You can gaze forward. As you exhale, lean your torso forward and your arms backwards. Inhale to rise, high lunge. Exhale, airplane lunge, load up the front leg. Once more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, airplane lunge. Bring your hands down to frame the right foot. Drop your left knee down. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And then as you exhale, cactus your arms down your back. But for this cactus version, we're going to keep the shoulders stacked above the hips so you're not taking that kind of heart opening position. Nice stable balance here. You might like to walk the right foot out a little bit wider for balance. And then as you inhale, Breathe deep. As you exhale, twist from your core towards the right knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist using your core. Inhale, center. Exhale, active twist. Inhale, back to center. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to frame the right foot. We'll step the right knee back to meet the left, moving through Vinyasa. So for your chaturanga, your knees can be up or down, whichever you prefer. Either way, inhale, lean slightly over your wrists. As you exhale, bend your elbows, lower your chest and belly all the ways down. We'll take active cobra waves. Hover your hands underneath your shoulders. We'll use the back muscles for this. Inhale, squeeze the back muscles together. Rise your head and chest up. And then exhale, lower. Keep the hands elevated the whole time. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Once more. Inhale, rising. Exhale, lowering. Well done. Hands under your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Up to tabletop. And all the ways back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, rising high on your tippy toes, gaze forward. As you exhale, bend your knees, compress your belly towards your thighs. Inhale to step, walk, or maybe hop to the front of your mat for halfway lift. Torso parallel to the floor, hands can be on the ground or shins. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, straight spine as you rise up to standing this time. Maybe take a little back bend. And exhale, bring your hands to prayer at heart center. You can bring your hands to your waist once more. Let's do that all on the other side. So tucking the top of the right toes underneath, so you get a stretch all up along the front of your right foot here. And into the right ankle. One more breath. Root down through the left foot as you bring the right knee into your chest. Pause here for a breath. Feel your core working. Turn it into a twist. Left hand to the outside of the right knee. Reach the right arm back behind you. You can gaze off to the side. One more breath here. Slowly turning back to face the center, you can bring your hands to your waist and then nice and slowly step the right foot to the back of the mat for a high lunge. Left heel, or left knee rather, stacks above your left ankle. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, lean your torso forward, send your arms back on the diagonal, airplane lunge. Inhale to reach up, high lunge, shoulders above hips. Exhale, lean the torso forward, reach the arms back. Once more, inhale, reach. Exhale, airplane lunge. Bring your hands down to frame your left foot and then you can drop your right knee down for low lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring your arms down to that cactus position. Find a nice stable stance here. And then keep your shoulders stacked above your hips for this version. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, use your core muscles to twist to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, active twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, bring your hands down to frame the left foot and then step your left knee back to meet your right. Move through Vinyasa, knees up or down, hands under your shoulders. Inhale, lean slightly over your wrists. As you exhale, bend into your elbows, lower your chest and belly all the ways down. This time we'll take locust pose. Option 1, simply just rest here with your forehead on the mat. Take a little break. Option 2, reach your arms back behind you. You're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together, pick your head and chest up, and then reach the fingers back behind you, picking your hands up off the mat. Option 3, squeeze the glutes to lift up your feet, shins, knees, maybe a little bit of your thighs. Pausing here for 2 more breaths. For the last deep breath, can you squeeze all the muscles of your back body to lift a little higher? And then gently you can lower yourself down. You might bring one hand on top of the other, rest your forehead down. I'm just not going to with the microphone here. Maybe you wiggle your hips a little bit side to side to release that. Once you're ready again, bringing your hands under your shoulders, tucking your toes under, push up to tabletop and all the ways back to your downward facing dog. On your next inhale, reach the right leg up and back behind you, 3-legged down dog. As you exhale, start to roll forward, shoulders above wrists. Bring the right knee towards your nose, round through the spine, and then step the right foot in between your hands. It might take a few little kind of wiggles to get it there. That is okay. That is perfect. You can drop your left heel down towards the mat straight away. Turn your left toes to point towards the long edge of your mat. Setting up for warrior 2. Rise up. Arms parallel to the ground. You can gaze over your right fingertips. So the right toes now point forward and the left toes are pointing towards the long edge of the mat. Your heels are on the same line. Root down through your feet. Nice strong legs. One more deep breath in warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Reverse warrior. Left arm slides down left leg, right arm in line with right ear. Deep breath into your right rib cage. Can you keep the bend in your front knee? Bring your arms back to parallel as you straighten through the front leg. For triangle trikonasana, you might like to walk your left heel in slightly closer to your right heel. Inhale, shift your hips to the back of your mat and then start to reach forward with your right arm, tick-tocking your arms to 6 and 12 o'clock. Now your right hand can rest absolutely anywhere on the right leg. Can you stack your shoulders? This is honestly something I kind of struggle with, stacking the shoulders. So just make sure that one arm reaches up to 12 o'clock and one arm, the bottom arm, reaches down to 6 o'clock. Think of rolling the right ribs forwards and the left ribs backwards. You can gaze down at the right foot, off to the side, or maybe up at the left fingertips. One more deep belly breath here. And then when you're ready, rise up and out of that. Left arm slides down left leg, right arm in line with right ear, reverse triangle. And then from here, rise out of that. You're going to rebend into the front knee. Pick the left heel up off the mat. So now you're in high lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, right arm back, left arm forward, open twist in high lunge. One more breath here. You can stay here, or maybe exalted warrior, where you reach your right arm back to hold onto the right thigh, left arm in line with your left ear. It's like a back bend mixed in with a twist. One more breath. Windmill your arms around, to frame the right foot and then step back to either high plank or tabletop. As you inhale, lean slightly over your wrists. As you exhale, lower all the ways down to your belly. Inhale, baby cobra, or maybe upward facing dog. Bring your hands back to frame your ribs if you're taking upward facing dog. Tops of the feet are on your mat. Push into your hands, the tops of your feet. Lift everything else up. Micro bend through your elbows. You can gaze forward. Take one breath in down dog or baby cobra. Inhale. Exhale. If you're in baby cobra, push up to tabletop and back to downward facing dog. If you're in upward facing dog, pull your core up and in. Push into your hands, rise to a high plank, then untuck your toes and back up to downward facing dog. Amazing. Take one more breath here in down dog. Inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, lift the left leg up and back towards the sky, three-legged down dog. As you exhale, bring the left knee to your nose, round through your spine, shoulders stack above wrists, and then step the left foot in between your hands. Drop the right heel down, right toes point towards the long edge of the mat. Windmill your arms up and around, warrior two. You can gaze over your left fingertips. I'm just going to turn to face you, but you can stay where you are. Make sure you've heel to heel alignment here. Roll your shoulders down your back. Really push into the ground with your feet to switch on the muscles of your legs. One more deep breath in warrior two. Keep the bend in your front knee. Right arm slides down right leg, left arm in line with left ear. Reverse warrior for one more breath. Straighten through the front leg. Bring your arms back to parallel. You might like to shorten your stance by walking your back foot in for triangle pose. Inhale, shift your hips to the back of your mat and start to reach forward with your left arm. Stack your shoulders. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Think of rolling the left ribs forward and the right ribs backwards. Maybe look up at the right fingertips if it feels good. One more deep breath here in triangle. Use your core to rise up and out of that. Right arm slides down right leg, left arm in line with left ear. Reverse triangle for one breath. And then when you're ready, lifting up, bend into your front knee, pick your back heel up off the mat for high lunge. Inhale, reach arms up to the sky. Exhale, right arm forward, left arm backwards. So you're twisting towards your bent knee for an open twist here in high lunge. Now you can stick with this, or maybe you reach back with your left hand to hold onto your right thigh and then bring your right arm in line with your right ear. Exalted warrior. One more breath here. Turning back to center. Bring your hands down to frame your left foot. Step left foot back to meet right. Now we're going to pause here in high plank. So you can have your knees down if that's what's best for you here. If you're in high plank, can you have your hips on the same line as the rest of your body? Can you push out through your hands so your shoulders are fired on? Well done. Just one more breath here in high plank. And then you can drop your knees down. We're going to take a child's pose. Big toes come to touch, knees go wide. Sink your hips back towards your heels. You can reach your arms ahead of you. If you prefer to have your knees together for child's pose, you're more than welcome to do that. rising out of this, we're going to take camel pose. So for camel, you can come up onto your shins. So you're on your shins. You'll have your toes tucked under. You can bring your hands onto your lower back with the fingers pointing down. You could also instead hold onto your waist if that feels better. Either way, squeeze the elbows together. From here, tuck your tailbone under, reach your hips forward, squeeze your glutes, reach your heart space up to the sky, and then maybe you start to drop your head back if that feels good for your neck. You can keep your hands on your lower back, or maybe if it feels good for you, you reach back to hold on to the ankles, but then from there you'll keep reaching the hips forward and keep reaching the heart space up to the ceiling. Two more breaths, your version. To come out of this, use your core. Your head will be the last thing to rise. Nice. And then nice and gently, you can make your way back to a child's pose. Take your time to get there. Knees can be together or apart, whichever you prefer. And we'll be here for a little while. About another 5 deep breaths. Starting to slow everything down. That was our last stimulating, activating posture of the practice. So we're really just starting to slow everything down here. And then gently lift out of that, just so that you can make your way down onto your back. There's no rush to get there. You can take your time, take your ease. Once you're there, plant your left foot into the mat, cross your right ankle over your left knee, reclined pigeon. You can stick with this, or maybe bring the left knee into your chest and interlace your hands around your left thigh. Pausing here for 4 deep breaths. Breathe deep into your right hip. Imagine that you're sending your nourishing deep breaths into the muscles of your right hip. And then when you're ready, you can release that. We'll move to the other side. So plant your right foot into the mat now. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. You can stick with the right foot on the ground, or maybe you pick the right foot up and interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Pausing here for another 4 deep breaths. Bringing your right foot back to the mat. We'll bring both knees into the chest. Then straight away bring your knees and feet wide. Reclined yogi squat. You can stay here or bring the soles of your feet to face the ceiling for happy baby. You can hold behind your thighs, onto your ankles, or maybe your feet. Think of reaching your knees towards your armpits. We'll be here for 5 more deep breaths in happy baby, Ananda Balasana. And then gently you can rebend your knees. Bring your knees back together. Extend your legs long. Take Shavasana, final relaxation. If lying on your back isn't for you, lots of other options. You could roll onto your side or onto your belly, or even just bend your knees and plant your feet into your mat. You can close down your eyes. Take up as much space as feels good to you. And just for these next few minutes, allow yourself to simply rest. Let that be the only goal for the next few minutes. Resting deep. Doing your best to keep your mind in the present moment. Nothing to solve, fix, change, or nowhere to go. Nothing to do. Just resting here for a few minutes. When you're ready here, taking a deep breath to bring some life back into your being. Inhale. Exhale. You can take any little movement that feels intuitive to you. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes, rock your head a little bit side to side, roll out your wrists, your ankles. If it feels good, you might even take a big stretch, reaching your arms up overhead. You might reach your feet and arms away from each other. And then nice and gently, one knee at a time, bring your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a little hug. Taking one more deep breath here. Inhale. Exhale. And now there's no rush to get there. Take your time to make your way up to seated, whatever way works for your body in this moment. We'll close the practice here together in cross-legged. When you're ready, inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart in prayer, Anjali Mudra. We'll close by chanting the sacred sound of Om together. We'll inhale to begin. Om. You can bow your head to your heart. Bring your hands over your eyes. Rest the weight of your head in your hands. Just spending a moment here. And then when it feels good, arriving back into your space. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed that class. If you did, I would love if you could like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to practice more with me, I also share yoga classes over on Patreon. I share 3 classes a week on my online membership, and you can try it out with a 7-day free trial over on Patreon. I would love to have you join our community over there. So I'll let the link for that down below in the description. And yeah, thank you so much. Wishing you the most beautiful, wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Bye.